Good morning and welcome to the show. We're opening up today at Marine Max with our friends here. We've got John and Eric, and we are standing here in front of what, a Boston Whaler? Is that what I'm looking at?
Absolutely, a 15 Montauk.
John, what's so special about this boat?
I'm gonna let Eric tell you all about that. Eric's the expert on Boston Whaler.
But it is a manager special, right?
That's what's special. Today we have a special offer to our customers on this particular boat, and Eric's gonna tell you all about it.
Eric, this will make a great Christmas gift.
Absolutely, it's a perfect Christmas gift. It even matches. The red and white works well.
Yeah, it sure does. Now, what makes the Boston Whaler so special?
It's the quality of construction. Boston Whaler uses a unique and proprietary system, and that the boat, the hull and the deck, it's completely filled with foam.
So it's really solid. There's no hollow spaces in
Absolutely.
here.
There's no hollow spaces.
And I see this little thing here. I guess this is just for demonstration purposes, but this is what the hull would look like.
Absolutely.
If we were to cut it in half.
Absolutely. And any boat, regardless of 11 foot all the way up to the largest now, which is a 42 foot, they're all constructed in the same manner.
Wow, that's something else. So you could literally break this boat in half and it would still float, wouldn't it?
Sure. In fact, they used to do demos where they would saw them in half and drive around the back portion of the boat and paddle around the front.
Wow, and so it's virtually unsinkable.
Well, that's right. They call it the unsinkable legend.
Now, it really is known as a fishing boat, and it looks like a fishing boat, but you could use it recreationally for other things, right?
Oh, sure, sure. You could do a lot of different things. This particular boat is equipped with a fishing package. So it has a live well on it. It's pre-rigged with a trolling motor. There's also rod holders, coolers, and even a small tackle section here. It's got everything that you need for a day on the water if you like to fish, or just run around from restaurant to restaurant and have a good day at the beach.
Yeah.
It'll do that as well.
Now, who typically buys these boats? Are these just guys wanting to go fishing, or families, or
Well, families
who's your
will.
typical customer for this?
Well, there is no typical customer. Everybody, there's a good cross section of people that buy it. The demographic is really interesting because we've had women that come in and buy the boat just for the fishing and the ease of cleanup, ease of use. This size is so great because most of the small RVs, SUVs will tow it. Fits in just about any garage. Even the trailer has a swing away tongue, giving you a lot more space. You know, the guys that fish it, guys that snorkel off of it, you know, the kids love it, and it's just so simple and easy to maintain and clean. That's one of the nice things about the Boston.
Yeah, and how about this? You talked about the maintenance of this thing.
Sure.
You know, I guess you got to flush the engine and just clean her up and
Sure.
stick her back in the garage. And
Well, that's right. And the size of the boat, you can walk right up to it sitting in your driveway and go ahead and clean it out. It's really easy, not a lot of on and off. You know, the fit and finish of the boat is really one of the things that makes Boston Whaler such a premium product, because you've got a 316 grade stainless, which a lot of the manufacturers are starting to use now, but also the fasteners, the nuts and bolts and screws that are used in this boat, they're also chrome plated, which is a step that a lot of manufacturers use.
so this thing will last a while. It'll last a lifetime, actually.
It certainly will.
If you take care of it.
There are 50-year-old Boston Whalers out there, 52-year-old Boston Whalers. If you find one, you really don't have to worry about the boat.
So this is literally a boat that will last a lifetime
It certainly could.
and give you a lifetime of fun on the water as well.
Absolutely.
Eric, thanks for showing me this Boston Whaler. And geez, I wish I could find this under my Christmas tree. Hint, hint.
Sure.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after your local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm, westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dr. Tara Griffin at Emerald Coast Dental Sleep Medicine, and I just came from the gym, and I'm a little sore. And I heard you've got some cosmic laser back here that does miracles. Okay, maybe. Am I overstating it?
It's not too much, actually. It's amazing what it can do. It's an MLS laser, and it's a cold laser, and it helps treat pain and inflammation and edema. So coming from the gym, the muscles getting tight right now from the workout,
Oh boy.
this certainly will relax and loosen everything, stimulate some energy at a cellular level to help with that soreness later.
Yeah, because I was at the gym at Workout Anytime, and I was severely injured by a young Taba instructor there, so I actually heard bones crackle, so maybe you can...
This should help.
Okay, so what do we need to do?
Okay, so let's put on some glasses.
Okay, I've got my sporty green glasses, and I
Yes.
guess these are green for a reason.
They are, because this is the color of the laser.
And they do match the shirt a little bit, so, which is good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to treat here the spine as well as across your traps, and I'm just going to run this up and down. And what it's doing is the difference between an MLS laser and other lasers is there are two wavelengths that it's working on, whereas many lasers will only have one wavelength. And so one wavelength treats inflammation and edema, and then the other one treats pain. And there's a continuous pulse with one, and there's or a continuous wave with one, and then there's a pulse wave with one. So that's what makes this unique, as well as the depth of penetration is 3 to 4 centimeters, and so that's extremely effective targeting what we need to do.
I got to tell you, Dr. Griffin, I really don't feel anything. I was kind of expecting some sort of sensation, but there's really nothing.
No, they call it a cold laser. Actually, there's a slight bit of warmth that comes off of it, but depending on how in tune you are with your body, oftentimes patients say that they can feel the energy coming off of the laser because it's light energy, and what it's doing is it's working at a cellular level to stimulate healing, and it's basically just encouraging natural healing. So again, with chronic pain patients, which we see a lot of pain patients, with head and neck pain and TMJ pain and things like that, this helps to eliminate having to use medicine or pain meds, especially, as well as surgery.
Normally I'd go home and take a couple Motrin or something and hope it doesn't hurt too bad.
You won't need to for this area. You might need to for some of the other muscle groups. But this should help also, from your workout, you typically get sore 2 to 3 days later, and this is going to help with any of that, So.
And it's penetrating right through the clothing.
It is.
It's just kind of odd when you think it's light.
Yeah. It does penetrate through. It's most effective. We'll tell patients to wear, loose-fitting clothing. So we're basically treating the head and neck area, and so contact is best. But you should still feel a difference. Now
you of course use this on your patients who have TMJ and dental issues as well. Right?
Yeah, dental actually is very interesting because this laser, we can use it after an extraction on a patient. We take a tooth out, and normally patients fear those procedures. They're pretty uncomfortable later. We prescribe pain meds and things like that to help them. And actually you can use this laser right over the extraction area, and it will reduce the inflammation and pain immediately. And so the post-op pain is greatly reduced.
Wow, and it'll help heal quicker as well?
Oh yeah, certainly. Any surgeries or wound healing.
And that's such a soft tissue, or does that work for bone as well?
It's soft tissue, yeah, but it's cellular, so I mean it's going to affect all of the tissues actually.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like say you were getting a dental implant or something, and you need that bone to heal up quickly. So
absolutely, a few laser treatments, and it will drastically speed the healing, as well as orthodontic, like the appliances that we do for sleep apnea. One of the orthodontic ones, we can speed up our treatment for patients just by using it at their follow-ups.
It's really amazing stuff. Not only can you reshape the airway and reshape people's, way they breathe and able to sleep and all that other stuff, but you can actually speed that along.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To remodel all of those structures.
Yes, certainly, and that's why we've invested in it. This is just FDA approved for dentists recently. Less than 1% of dentists have this technology, so we're very happy to have it here in Bay County.
Right here with Dr. Tara Griffin at Emerald Coast Dental Sleep Medicine, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is David Lovett, and this is your Mad Hatter Minute. There are 3 things that may make your car run: fuel, fire, and air. Today, we're going to be talking about the air and the air intake system. Early automobile intake systems were very simple air filters connected directly to the carburetors. A modern automobile intake system has 3 parts. It has the air filter, the mass airflow sensor, and it has the throttle body. Air enters the engine through a snorkel tube located just inside the hood. The raw, cold air comes in contact first with the air filter. A particulate air filter is a device created of fibrous materials that removes the dust, debris, pollen, and bacteria from the air before moving into the engine. The filtered air then continues through the snorkel tube to where it reaches the mass airflow sensor, or commonly known as the MAF sensor, M-A-F sensor. Mass airflow information is then transferred digitally to the electronic control unit, or the brain of the vehicle, for which it tells how much air is entering the vehicle and how much fuel should be distributed in connection with the entry of the air. The throttle body controls the amount of air being distributed back into the engine. Whereas the mass airflow sensor measures the air, the throttle body actually controls the air. This in turn controls the amount of fuel ratio to be delivered back into the engine. And keeping a clean air filter, keeping a clean throttle body creates better running vehicles. I'm David Lovett, and this has been your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hey folks, this is Joshua Brown with Mad Hatter on 23rd Street. Is your check engine light on? If it is, text MADHAT28, that's MADHAT28, to 24247 and we'll check it for free.
Welcome to the show. I'm here with Dr. Stephen Favaloro from Forest Park Animal Hospital to give us our pet health tip of the week. Welcome back to the show, Doc.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
You too, man.
You know, you hear a lot about pet vaccinations. You've got to get the shots. Your dogs have to have shots.
Absolutely.
Why are they so important?
Well, you know, we know that we want to get our vaccines to protect us from, you know, the common, you know, deadly vaccines that are out there. You know, parvo. Everyone's like, most people are familiar with parvo.
What exactly is parvo?
It's a vaccine. It's a vaccine. It's a virus that attacks the intestinal lining of puppies generally, or immunocompromised animals, and I mean it really does a number on their intestines, and so they really start off with like fevers, and then they start to get vomiting, diarrhea. You'll start to get bloody diarrhea. Their immune system gets real low because all their white blood cells are.
Is it curable if a dog gets parvo? Can you treat a dog with parvo, or is that
yeah?
Just
I mean,
so bad?
It depending on how bad they are. It really depends a lot, like on how low their white blood cells are when they come in. But you can treat them with supportive care. You know, there's no antiviral that'll make them better, so it's basically supportive care, treating the symptoms, keeping them warm, preventing them from going into shock, things like that.
But there is a vaccine for that.
Yeah, there's a vaccine for it. Distemper, hepatitis, you know, leptospirosis of bacteria, parainfluenza, bordetella, which is, you know, kennel cough vaccine, and of course rabies. So, you know, so we have these vaccines, and, you know, one of the things about vaccines that's important, you know, that we do them so routinely that, you know, no one ever thinks about, well, you know, is there any problems that you can have from the vaccine?
Yeah, I mean, people get reactions to vaccines, so
the,
why wouldn't a dog?
The you know, basically what a vaccination is a stimulation of the immune system, which in itself is an inflammatory process. So, you know, when they get vaccines, just like when we get vaccines, you know, they'll have some, at the very least, some muscle soreness, you know, some just lethargy. You know, and some dogs you won't even notice. Next day they're running around, eating, drinking, playing normally. But most of the time there's some, you know, difference than before.
And I know new mothers out there will tell you that when their babies go in for their shots and all, doc tells them to expect a little fever or whatever.
Absolutely,
you know?
It's not not uncommon for 24, 48 hours to have a fever. But most people don't, you know, pick up on it because the dog doesn't act sick. And so those are generally like the reaction that a body will have all the time. But then you could have some milder reactions that aren't life-threatening, and you know, you can see hives, you can see swelling in the face, you can see vomiting, and one of the things about, you know, vomiting is sometimes it can just be car sickness. But if they, you know, just do more than just throw up when they get home and they don't feel well, that could be more of a vaccine reaction. And sometimes we can give, you know, Benadryl for that, or we have an anti-inflammatory shot we can give. And you know, the Journal of American Veterinary Medicine did a study. They took like over 1 million pet records from over 350 hospitals, and basically they came to the conclusion that 1 out of every, you know, 250 dogs will have, you know, some sort of mild reaction, which is
that sounds pretty common.
You know, 13 per 10,000. So really, I mean, it's there, but it's not, you know, I mean, we don't see. I don't think we see it that much.
Now, what do I do though if my dog gets a reaction?
Well,
I mean, should I run back to the vet, or can I just give him Benadryl and?
Well, usually you want to call the vet, let them know. At the very least, we'll mark it in the record that you have a vaccine reaction, because we can give medicines that, you know, can kind of counteract that obnoxious inflammatory response, or, you know, just, you know, Benadryl or something like that. And then the next time, you know, you come, we can prevent that from happening. And so those are the most common things. Now, you could have like real severe individual reactions, and we don't see these commonly at all. but they can go into anaphylactic shock. They can have sudden death. I remember 3 months out of being out of vet school, this cat comes in, and normal, routine, healthy exam. Nothing
Cat
wrong
drove
with the cat.
himself there. He came in.
No.
His little Catmobile.
No, but interestingly enough, the owner of the cat was the head of the pediatric ward for pulmonary cardiac care at the local hospital.
Oh my!
And so the irony is that we gave her cat his shots, gave her the rabies shot. 30 minutes later, she came back in. The cat was in severe respiratory distress. We did everything that we could, and it died. And when we did the necropsy, its lungs had filled up with blood. And it died from that reaction. And of course, the irony is that was the owner's specialty in pediatrics.
Wow.
But I mean, that was 3 months ago. I've been practicing for almost 20 years. I've never seen a reaction like that since. So when you get those reactions, they're very individual. Now, the things that we think may lead up to vaccine reactions is the more shots that you get at one time could cause a reaction. So, because the body's reaction is to either the viral or bacterial parts that are in there, or the preservatives, or the carriers, things that are in the vaccine that your body can have a reaction to. And then, like, the bacterial molecules are much bigger than the viral. So the bigger the molecule, the more complicated the protein, and the more possibility for reaction. So leptospirosis has always got kind of a bad rap.
What is leptospirosis?
It's a bacteria that can cause kidney and liver failure, and it lives in the urine of rodents. So that's that when people like stay away from leptospirosis. Well, they did a study and they didn't see that there was that much difference between lepto versus any of the other vaccines. You got the multivalents, which are the ones that have the 5-in-1, the 7-in-1 you hear about, where you have your distemper, parvo, hepatitis, and
so
all that in there.
So is it wiser to separate those out?
But those, they showed that those don't cause any more of a reaction than if you gave it versus the Bordetella versus the rabies versus the lepto by itself. So if you have a dog or a cat that's having a reaction, then the best thing to do is just maybe get a shot, and then 1 week later get another shot, and then 1 week later get another shot. And that way it spreads it out. And so usually if you're going to have a reaction, it's going to be like a type 1 where you're going to see it like within, for immediately, or within the next hour or two. Or you're going to have like the type 4 delayed, which is like within 48 hours. So, you can see these are not that common, but it's important if you do see them that you take steps to avoid them.
And just keep an eye on your pet, and if you get a bad reaction, call the vet.
There you go.
Sound advice. Dr. Stephen Favaloro, Forest Park Animal Hospital. Thanks a lot for coming back on the show.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here in the studio with Damon and Jack from Bay County Animal Services, and Jack is the one in the fur coat.
Yes, sir.
Just to keep there. Now, Damon, what's the story with Jack?
Well, Jack was found running down the road as a stray. We had a call to come pick him up. I mean, believe it or not, most dogs run from us, but this one run right up to us.
Yeah, he's a friendly little guy, too.
Yeah, he sure is. Great dog. He knows how to listen, that's for sure.
Now I'm looking at him. It looks like his head doesn't match his body.
No, it definitely don't look like it. He's a miniature pin and Jack Russell mix.
So min pin head, definitely the coloring, and then
yeah.
Jack Russell coloring on the rest of his body, and he's as sweet as can be. This dog. Now he's been neutered and had all the shots.
He's
and
2
all that
years
stuff.
old. He's had his rabies shot. He's microchipped. Everything, wormer, flea medicine. He's good to go.
And he was just a stray.
Yeah.
Somebody just
Tossed him out.
tossed him out, and he's running the streets trying to stay alive.
He might have escaped and never made his way back home.
I got to tell you, Damon, one thing that breaks my heart is when you see a dead dog in the road.
Oh, yes.
The people just throw these dogs away, they discard them, they run the streets, they wind up in traffic, and they wind up getting killed. And look what a sweet little guy he is.
Oh, yeah, and we get the calls where we do have to come remove dead dogs and dead cats off the road. And, every time you do, it's sad.
But if somebody wanted to take Jack home for the new year,
well, all they'd have to do is come down to our shelter. It's off Bayline Drive on 231. Just ask for Jack. We'd be more than glad to get him out for you. Let you take him for a walk. $25 for adoption, and he'd be going home with you today.
And Jack, I got to tell you, we were playing with Jack before the show, and he is really just a frisky, lovable, just a real. You could tell he was someone's pet at one time. So he loves humans, and I'm sure he'd get along with kids just fine too.
Definitely.
And for $25, he's been neutered. He's got his shots. He's got a chip.
He's had the works. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
He's got it all except he's got everything except the home.
Except the home. That's definitely what he needs.
Well, Damon McMillan, thank you so much for everything you do for our furry friends.
I appreciate it.
And I hope you find Jack a home here real soon.
I sure do. Maybe today.
Maybe today. And that number again?
It's 767-3333.
767-3333 to give Jack a home. Thanks for watching the show. Happy New Year. And remember to spay and neuter your pets.